welcome back. Now we will implement comments related features, like when you are on the posts here, we should display the number of comments somewhere, and that number should be clickable. So if user clicks on that, then it show you the list view of those comments, and from there user is able to delete any of those comments. Okay, let's begin. In the VS Code, let's open the posts list HTML. Also open the inspect element to observe the data that we are getting from the backend. So if we click on that, in every post we have these properties, but we don't have the number of comments yet. So let's add them. Okay, in order to add the number of comments, we have to go to the post controller in the backend project and search for the controller that is responsible for giving us this data. So expand this, and here where we get all of the posts, we need to get the IDs for all of the posts, post IDs, and here we extracted the IDs from every post by using the map function. Now this variable holds an array of the post IDs. After that, we have to get the number of comments for every post. Okay, so open the comment service in the backend project, and here we have to define another function. Although we already have a function get post comments that gives us all of the comments of a specific post ID, but we need to get the total number of comments for every post. So here I will use export constant get total comments by post IDs. So here we will be getting the array of post IDs, and here we will return the response comment dot find all. And first of all, we will use the attributes. Here we will pass the post ID. As we need only post ID, also we need to use the count function. So for that, I will pass an array, and within that array we will use sequelize.fn, and here we will pass the MySQL function name that we want to use, that is count. And then we will, so basically this function expect two parameters. First is the function name, second one is the name of the field that you want to use to count. And here we are using an alias to give the response of this function a name that would be total comments. And after that, we need to use the where condition, and in the where we will use post ID is equal to post IDs. So sequelize automatically identify if it is an array or single ID. So if it is an array, it will automatically use the in operator. So for example, it will use post IDs in this. It automatically will generate this kind of query. But if it is a single ID, then it will use this query like that. Okay. And after that, we need to use the group by statement, because there might be multiple comments against a specific post ID. We don't need multiple rows. We just need one row per post, and we are counting the number of comments for every post. Now let's copy this, and here I will create a constant total comments by post IDs is equal to await. Call this function. Make sure to import this function from comments service like this, and pass it the post IDs. Now we need to use the map function on the post array to attach the total number of comments to every post. So for that, I will use posts is equal to post dot map, and here we first of all need to create a constant total comments is equal to total comments by post ID. Here we will use the find function that will give us one object, because this contains an array of the models or objects of our database result. And in this find function, here we will getting the item for every item from this array. I will give it a name total comments by post ID, and here we need to write the logic that if the post ID on this object is equal to the post dot ID from this map loop, then consider that. And now here I will return another object. Here I will use spread the current fields from the post. I called the JSON function. We just need the properties of the plain JSON object, not other complex functions of this model. And now here I will attach the total number of comments. So this is a field, and in field we are adding the value from total comments dot get, and this would be the name that you have used here. So make sure this is exactly same that you have defined there, and if there is nothing found, then it will automatically use the 0 by default. So that's why we used this OR symbol here. As we have modified the data, now it does not look like the post model, because in this posts variable we were saving the result of the post model array. But now these are not the model anymore, these are the plain objects, so that's why it is complaining about it. So you can give it another name, for example constant posts with total comments. So I used a different variable and we will return that one from the response.json function. Save it. Now let's reload it. Go to the network tab, reload this, and let's see what we have. Here you can see total comments is added with every row. Now we need to add a comment with some posts. So we have post 1, 2, 3. Go to the comments and add the content user ID. Let me check the user ID. So we have user ID 1 and 5. Let me use the ID 5 here, and the post ID would be 1. Let's add the now function here. Save it. I will copy paste it like this, but we will use different post IDs and these IDs. Let me remove these IDs because these IDs would be generated automatically, because these are primary auto incremented keys. So this is post ID 2, 2, 2. Let me add few more. This would be attached with the post ID 3, 3, 3. Save it. Now we have multiple comments against different posts. So reload it and see what we get. Okay, here we can see that there are 0 comments. Here we got the 4 comments. So we got the 0 comment for the post ID 5. So if we look at the database, we did not add any comment for the post ID 5. If you add one, then you will see that here. So let's add another comment for the post ID 5. Save it. Okay, now if you reload it, here we have the total comments 1 for this post. So in this way, every post will show the correct number of comments. Now we can use this field to display another column here. So let's do that. First of all, we need to modify our iPost interface. So search for the post interface, and here I will add this field. And this is totally optional, and this is going to be a number. Close this. Now search for the posts list HTML in the admin folder, and here I'm going to add another field. So duplicate this code because that represents one column in this table, and here I will add the name text comments, and this would be total comments. Okay, now copy this total comments name, and in that component class file after title, or yes, we want to add it after title here. Save it, and we got the number of comments are working now. So these HTML tags, the order of these tags don't matter, but this order matters. So whatever order you specify here, that would be considered to display the fields in that specific order. Now we need to add a link on these comments. So here, cut this code, add a href, or here I will use router link, and here I will use admin / comments / here I will use the post ID. So to pass the post ID, I will use the square bracket around the router link, and let's use the single quote here, and then I will concatenate the element.id, and here we passed the text of that link. Now if you click on this, it should take you to another route, but there is another issue. It selects that row that is not what I want. So when we click, we don't want to let the click event pass to the parent. For that, we can add the click event, and here we can add event.top immediate propagation. Call that function. Okay, it will not let the click event pass or traverse to the parent. So that's good. Now let's define this route. Okay, so go to the admin routing. Here we have the entry path for every type of module. Let's add the path for the comments as well. So add comments, and here we will use comments here and here as well, and this will return the comments module. Now go to the comments module, and here we will have only one route, path empty. Actually path would be the post ID, because this is a route parameter, and we know that there would be only one route that would be for getting the list of comments from a specific post ID. So if you want to have multiple routes, then you must have added something else here, for example like this, but for now it is fine. And here use the component and open the and call, and here we will mention the comments list component. Save it, and let's test it. Now it is taking us to the comments list component. Now we will complete this page. So for that we will use the simplest version of our pages, so that is the comments. So that is the tags. So open the tags list HTML, copy all of the code and open comments list HTML again, paste that code here and go back to the tags list component.ts and copy everything below the class name, and in the components list.component.ts add that code here. Now go back to the previous file, that is tags list component.ts, and select all of the import statements. By the way, there I can see some unused imports. For that you can use Option Shift O, that will optimize them by removing unused imports. So copy these imports, go back to the components list.component. Open the comments list.component.ts and on the top add those imports, and also we need to add all of these imports as well. So copy them and add those imports in the imports array of the comments list component. Alright, now if you look at the comments route, the content related to tags is visible in the table view. So now we have to modify it to make it dedicated for the comments only. So here we don't need the create button, because we will not be creating the comments will be created by other people. Okay, now here we need a field that would be content. Okay, that's it about it. And we don't need the edit button, so I will remove the column for the edit. And in the TS file we will remove the actions column as well, because we don't need that, we just need the delete feature. Okay, here now let's go line by line to make updates. Here we need the comment service, and this name would be comment service, and here instead of loading tags we need the load comments, and everything would stay same. Here let's replace it with the load comments. Here we need the comments service, and here we need the function get comments, and this will expect the post ID. As you can see, we already have created that function, we just have to give it the post ID. So to give it the post ID, we need to get the post ID. So here add post ID is equal to post ID of type number, and this would be optional. I mean, at the beginning there is no data in it, so we will add the question mark here to make it optional, so that TypeScript don't complain about it. And now in the constructor we need to inject another service, that would be route is equal to inject, pass the activated route. Make sure to add the statement for the activated route as well from Angular/router. And now here before loading the comments I will use this .route.params.subscribe. So this params will give you an observable or a subject that you can use to subscribe, and in that subscribe function we will move our load comments function call here. And before that I will get the post ID from params and assign it to the component class variable post ID. So when this function would be called, at that time the post ID will be available, so it should work. So it is saying that argument of type number or undefined is not assignable to parameter of type number. Type undefined is not assignable to type number. So to fix that, we will just add this symbol here that will tell TypeScript that we are dead sure that post ID will be available at that time, so don't complain about that. And now in the data source we were using the I tag interface, we should be using the I comment interface, so let's replace it everywhere. Also make sure to add the import statement for this. And now let's rename it from tags to comments here and here as well. Now we have the delete select tags, change the name to delete selected comments, and here we will be using the comment service. We need to define the delete comment function. Also here we need the load comments function. So whenever the comment will be deleted, we will recall the load comments that will refresh the table view to show us the updated results. And in that updated result there will not be the deleted post, obviously. Okay, search for the tag. We should not be using the I tag anymore, so remove the I tag from here and use the I comment and search for the tag again. instead of the selected tags, we should name it selected comments here and here as well. And we should name it selected comment IDs and here as well. Also, if you go to the tag list component.ts, here we are using incorrect names. For example, we are getting the IDs from the tags, so we should give it name selected tag IDs, not the category IDs. Okay, or you can close it. Now go to the comment service should define this missing function. Make sure you go to the comment service of the frontend project and here add that missing function. That will be getting the ID of the comment, and we will return the response of this delete method where the return type is iComment, that is an interface, and we have passed it the base URL, and I think we don't need to pass the comment ID in this way. You can use a second argument because we need the comment ID from the body like this. So here pass the comment ID. Just to double check, go to the comment controller and search for the delete comment controller. Here we are expecting this exactly same spelling for the field comment ID, so that looks correct. Now in the comments list component, everything is fine. I guess you can remove the unused imports, so let's optimize the imports by pressing option shift O in the VS Code. Now I see some errors in the comments list component.html, so let's see what are those. Here we are using the name of the function delete selected tags. We should use the delete selected comments. Also replace this name from tags to comments. Okay, so now let's click on this. It should be showing the 4 comments, 1 2 3 4. That's correct. Okay, let's select this. It should show only 2 comments. Yes, this looks correct, but the content is not visible. So let's see what's wrong there. Here we are using the name property instead of the content, so replace it with that content and content here, and go to the component class file, and here we don't need the name field, we need the content field. Okay, great. Now everything is visible. Now let's try to delete a comment. I will select this, and ID is to hit delete and go to the table plus, search for the ID2. ID2 was removed, so that's when it worked perfectly. Okay, so I think that is done about the comments list as well. Now if we look at our to-do list, we have completed all of these tasks. Now we should implement this feature, show only items that were created by current user in the list pages. Close all of these files, close others, and search for the post controller.ts, and get all posts controller is the controller that is responsible to display these posts here. So at that time we have the user ID we can get from the request. So get user from request. Now I will create a constant user, and we use request as any dot user, and we used the typecasting to give the type of user model to this user variable. Now copy the user variable, and here we should pass that user ID here. User ID is equal to this. In this way it will give us only those posts that were created by this. Okay, now reload it. There is an error. Okay, there is an issue. The issue is that if you go to the post routes.ts file, we are not using authenticate JWT. So we are using it for the mutation endpoints, but we are not using for this specific endpoint. That's why it was not able to get the user from the session or from the token. So we have to adjust our code in a way that we could access that user without enforcing that you are supposed to log in, because some data is public and we don't need a token to get that data. Like the list of the posts should be public, so we cannot use the exactly same middleware here. Otherwise it will not allow user to see the posts in the public posts page. So let's see what we can do about that. Open this middleware, and here I can define another middleware. Actually we should reuse this piece of code. We should refactor it so that we could reuse it. So I can create another function, authenticate JWT, and you can name it anything. I will for now name it common. We will change this name if we get an idea of a better name. So for now just cut all of this code and move it here. Okay, now we are expecting token response of type response, and next function token would be of type string. Also we need request of type request from the parameter. Okay, now I can simply call this function here. Now I will create another version of the authenticate JWT. Authenticate JWT underscore are optional. Okay, now this is optional authentication. So if token was not found, then it will not complain about that. So here I will just remove the if condition, and here in this function the token should be optional, and the optional parameters should be defined after the required parameter. Let's put it at the end, and let's just arrangement here as well and here as well. Okay, now here we will check if token was not found, then just call the next function. Okay, now let's copy this name of middleware and go to the post routes, and here I will pass the name of middleware here. Make sure to import it from this path. Okay, now let's test it. Reload it, and it is giving me all of the articles that were created by me, and let's check in the public view if yes, the posts are still visible here. That's mean this optional middleware is working as expected. So now here let's change the user of one of these posts to see if it excludes that post from this list. To go back here in the users, we have the user ID 5 and 1. Let's use the ID 1 for the testing new post entry. So here I will replace it with 1. Save. Okay, if you reload, then this post should be hidden. Alright, it is working as expected. So this is what we wanted to implement. Now it will display only the data that was created by you in this page. Now let's do same for the categories. So currently, let me create a new category first. Now go back to the backend, and here search for the category routes, and here I will pass the optional middleware, that would be authenticate JWT optional, and now reload it. Everything is still working. Now I will assign the category ID to the user 1. Actually, currently categories are not using the user ID. So now go back to the backend and go to the get categories controller, and here we should get the user ID from the request, get user from the request. So for that, we again used the same code to access the user model from the request. And now here I will pass the user ID from the user.get. Okay, so currently this parameter is not defined yet. So let's add an optional parameter here, that is filters, and the type would be an object with property user ID. That is also an optional field. And here I will create a constant where is equal to empty. And now I will check if filters are defined. Then I will check if filter user ID was specified. Then we will use where user ID is equal to this. So let me add type any here, and here you can now use where dot user ID syntax, and we got the user ID and assigned to it. Now here you can add where is equal to where, but this is redundant. We can just remove this value and this will do the job. Save it. Now if you reload it, then here we can see there are only 2 comments against the user 5. Currently user ID 5 is logged in here. So reload it, and now it is working correctly. Now if you change the user ID for this comment as well, save it, then this should also be hidden. This is also working perfectly fine. Now go to the tags. We have to filter out those tags that are not created by this user. So let's do that. In the tags, we have the user ID. So that's great. So currently there is only 1 tag associated with current user. So go to the tag routes, and here I will pass the authenticate JWT optional middleware. All right. Now go to the get tags controller, and here get user from request in the same way like we did earlier. And now here I will pass the object with the property user ID by getting it from the user model, and in the get all tags we will specify the optional filters of type object with the user ID, that is also optional. And now here I will create a constant where object, and here I will check if filters were defined. Then within that we will check if user ID was defined, then set that user ID to the where object property user ID and pass that where condition here. Okay, also we should set the order as well. Currently the order was not specified here, so here I will add order. That should be ID descending or created at descending. Okay, comma here. All right, let's reload it, and currently it should show only 1 tag, but there is an error, I guess. I made a mistake in the spelling, so it should be created at. Save it. Now reload it. Okay, it is working. Now it is showing only one tag that was created by this. That's now. Alright, that's all what I wanted to cover in this lecture.